I'm going to tell you something about thatch in this video that you probably don't know, and I'm also going to demonstrate dethatching my own lawn, and I'm going to tell you why this is important for your lawn. Let's get started right now. This video is sponsored by Yardbook. If you need a lawn care software, use the one I've been using since 2015. Go to yardbook.com. One of the most confusing things is actually what is thatch, and I feel like I was actually corrected last week on my definition of thatch. I called my friend James, who's been on the channel a lot, and he was explaining to me a lot of the misconceptions about thatch and also telling me why thatch is a problem in your yard, but maybe not a problem in some yards like you probably thought it was. So let me show you what thatch looks like and what's not thatch. Then let's dethatch the lawn, and also I'm in the process going to talk to you about why it's important and what is thatch actually doing to your grass to harm it. So let's start with the basics. What is thatch? Thatch is dead plant material that resists decomposition. Now that's from my friend James. It sounded very good, too good for me to actually disagree with. But he also told me, he said, you know, you ask several people what thatch is, you may get different answers, okay? So let me show you my actual yard and show you what I think may be thatch and what is actually not thatch, though I thought it was thatch a week ago. It's March in the sweet home Alabama, and look at this yard. Bermuda grass that's probably making the cool season grass people sick because it's not green enough. For the warm season people, we think, hey, it's about to be green, it's turning green. And what do you have a lot of times this time of year? You got a lot of this. What is this? Well, if you'd asked me a week ago, I'd have said, oh, that's thatch. You got thatch in your yard. According to our definition, our working definition we're going to use for this video, and you can correct me if you have a different definition, but according to it, this actually is not thatch. So what is it? Well, it's basically grass clippings from last year, dormant grass that over the winter has just kind of laid out over the yard because of cold weather, and now it's rain and it's sort of puddled up in low spots in the yard. You know, look at that. Is that thatch? Well, by our definition, no. Now, why is that not thatch by our definition? Well, the reason is because this is Bermuda grass clippings that actually do decompose fairly easily in the summer. The definition we're using was plant material that resists decomposition. So think about, does that mean a stick? Is a stick thatch? Is a leaf thatch? Well, I mean, those things break down over time. I call a stick. I don't want to get all confused. A stick thatch is a leaf thatch. You know, leaves will break down also, but they may not break down as quickly as this Bermuda grass. So this Bermuda grass, in the summer with the hot weather, you start mowing it, it's going to be very small, laying on the ground, and then you got this microbial activity that's going to start breaking that down and actually feeding your lawn. That's why a lot of people recommend that you actually don't bag your clippings. Now, what I would say, if you got a yard that has dormant Bermuda, if I was gonna bag it, I would bag it maybe the first and second cut of the year. So let's say it's 3 inches tall and it's all dormant, it's early March. I'm basing this on my time frame here in Alabama. And I come in there at 3 inches and I take it down to 2 inches. Now, didn't I actually do much of anything there but remove the dormant grass? I don't think so. I think all I basically did was remove the dormant grass. Well, I mean, if I want to take all day, I could run over the yard 3 times and bag it, take it down to 2 inches, then take it down 1.5 inches, whatever. Might take 2 times. But what I do sometimes, even if I'm mulching, bagging, whatever, I'll take it down to 2 inches the first time, and then the next time I'll take it down as low as I can go with my mower. That's 1.5 inches. Now again, if you do it with a bagging mower, you're getting rid of a lot of that dormant grass that you can go decompose of it, throw it away, whatever, and with that dormant grass that you can go get rid of, and that's going to allow the sunlight to get down to those roots, start warming the soil, and start to give you that early spring green up, which I think is great. Sometimes I'll even cut it down a little bit lower on the last cut of the fall so that there won't be so much dormant grass to deal with first of the spring. But you think about that, like when I walk in the house in the early part of the year, I'm tracking grass clippings in there, but in the summer, it's not near as bad. You don't notice these big pile of dormant grass laying around everywhere because it is breaking down faster, and maybe some of the green grass is hiding it. But you don't see near as much of this, and this, and this. All right, let's move on to a different type of grass, and then we're gonna talk to you about that, and then let's get to dethatching. I'm gonna show you this dethatcher I bought off Amazon, and it's, you know, it's pretty good, not great, but I want to demonstrate it and talk to you a little bit about scarification. I said scarification. So if you say scarify the yard, don't worry about it. I think it's actually scarify. So let me show you that. Again, here's more examples of all this piled up grass, which we are now saying is not thatch. And one of the things James told me, he said, like, if you got a Bermuda grass lawn and you can take the grass and kind of part it and see the ground, then you really don't have a thatch problem. Now, over here, we got into zoysia lawn. This is a, over here we've got into some zoysia grass, and this is emerald zoysia, and it is much more shade tolerant, so I got it kind of under some of these crepe myrtles that doesn't get as much sunlight. And if you look at it here, it's a little bit thicker. Again, we're early in the year, but if I would kind of part it, I mean, I don't see, I can still actually get down where I can see the soil. So this grass has only been here for 2 or 3 years, but if you see this, and this brown grass here, that is basically dead, okay? You got this stuff. And if that, and what I know about zoysia grass, and there's a fancy word for this, but it has a woodier material to it. Now, something probably about the cell structure and all that. It's gonna resist breaking down a lot more than the Bermuda. So the Bermuda is gonna break down faster, is what I'm getting at. So this stuff, this dormant grass, is gonna keep piling up. So this dead grass, dead plant material, resists decomposition. And if you get layers and layers of this, where it continues to pile up in your zoysia lawn, I'm just using that as an example, it's not the only grass I'm sure that can have thatch. But if that begins piling up here, and to where you literally walk on it and it's kind of squishy, I mean, you can almost feel it being, maybe squishy is the wrong word, spongy. You know, you can walk on it, and it's got this layer of thatch. So if you've seen your zoysia grass, again, I'm just using that example, it can be other grass types, but where it's literally matted down and got brown clippings everywhere, and it begins to really affect the growth of the actual living grass, then you very well may have thatch. And again, the difference in the Bermuda and the Bermuda is going to break down so much faster. The zoysia being made of a woodier material, it doesn't break down as fast. So again, if you're going to bag your yard with a Bermuda, I don't find it as necessary. Again, I said I might bag it the first or second cut of the year. I live on several acres, so I'm not bagging several acres. But on zoysia, it seems to make a little bit more sense because you're going to help avoid some thatch problem. Now, do you have to bag it? Of course not. You can use a dethatcher, or you can just live with it and hope for the best. All right, so what's the problem if the thatch gets real bad? Yeah, it starts to mat up and kind of lay your grass down, look all brown and nasty and everything. But think about it too, and this is something I didn't really 100% understand. If I've got all this thatch in here, then if this kind of continues to pile up and you just got a huge layer of matted grass down there, well, think about what happens when it's 95 degrees this summer. And what happens is it's getting very hot underneath there. And so you're trapping a lot of heat, which is probably not good for the lawn. And then also, I didn't realize this, and you can read about it, but so humans take in oxygen, you know, and you think, well, plants actually put off oxygen. But what I didn't realize was that the plant roots actually need oxygen. And so you think about all this matted up stuff kind of preventing the natural flow of oxygen and water and things from getting down to the roots. Well, eventually the plant health begins to greatly suffer from that. Again, and like we talked about too, the amount of heat that can build up in the summertime is not good. So the thatch is contributing to that. So if you're, and I had an example of this with a customer of mine that lives right down the road. His zoysia was looking terrible. We had fertilized it, done some things, it's still looking pretty terrible. And he said he didn't have a dethatcher, so he said he got somebody out there that had just a metal rake or just got a garden rake and got out there and raked up bags and bags and bags of thatch out of that yard. And guess what? It turned around pretty quickly. So sometimes when you go through the dethatching process and also the scarifying process, it may actually make the yard look a little bit ugly right off the bat. But over time, you may be causing some very helpful results in your lawn. So that brings us to this thing, and this is the Rockin' Rocker Dethatcher. Now, a lot of these cheaper model dethatchers you get on Amazon are gonna come with, and I'll put a link to this one if you want to get it, but it's pretty good. I mean, it's light, it's mostly plastic. I'm not saying it's gonna last forever, but as far as what it does, I think it works fine. Now, a lot of them are gonna be, you have to use an extension cord, which is not great. I've got 3 extension cords stretched out here to try to make this thing work. But let me flip over on the other side. You can adjust how deep you want it to go right here with an easy handle, and because it's plastic, it's easy to maneuver. But look at these tines on here. Now, this is the Scarification, okay? So this is gonna collect thatch, and it's got a bag and all that. But these actually dig down into the soil. So, I mean, you're kind of almost tilling it up a little bit. So you're definitely getting rid of thatch. You're also getting down into the soil, solution of the soil. So this may also help a little bit with soil compaction and things like that. So what I want to do is change this out and put the dethatcher tines on here, because I don't want to tear this up too much. Basically, in a lot of ways, and somebody can explain this, the difference in scarification and dethatching, but I'm not trying to dig down the soil. I just want to get a lot of the thatch out of here. So this would be for a more serious renovation, in my opinion, but also may improve with that oxygen and water flow getting down to the roots, but also may help if you had compacted soil to some degree. So let's change these out, put the dethatching tines on here, and then we're gonna crank it up and catch some thatch and just show you a real brief demonstration. All right, I went ahead and put the bag on there. It just pops on there real easy. It's basically like a lawnmower bag. And actually, I'm gonna demonstrate the scarifying for just a minute, just so I can show you the difference. Now again, depending on where you adjust this handle is gonna make a difference on how high or low it digs into the soil. I don't wanna dig down in the trench. I'm just gonna put it on number 2, which is actually in the middle of my ranges here. So it has a button you press on the right side, and then you pull this handle and it turns it on. All right, this is the Scarification. All right, so I just made one pass here, and again, I didn't have it drop down the lowest level. I would recommend not doing it in an area that has like rocks and sticks and everything. But you can see, I don't know, let me just try to give you a side by side. You see here kind of the brown dormant grass here, or possibly some of it might be dormant, some of it may be clippings that are dead. And you see where I basically got rid of that by doing that. So you can see the point here. I mean, it did dig down the soil a little bit, but I think that's actually very helpful, especially if you had a serious thatch problem, which I don't. Now let me switch over and put the dethatching attachment on there instead of those scarification tines, and we'll try it again and see what happens then. Basically an Allen wrench that fits right here, and that's how you get that off. Whether I have the right Allen wrench or not, I probably threw the one away that came with it. Oh, I found one. Here we go. I think lefty's still loosey and righty's still tighty, but we'll see. There we go. Should have got a drill or something. All right, got these bolts out of here, and you see the thing just slides off. Slide this out. Pull that off. All right, this is the dethatching tines, okay? So it's not gonna dig down in the soil, it's more just picking up the thatch. I've got it put in there, just gotta put these 2 bolts back on, we'll be ready to go. So this was actually that one pass I just made with that scarifier. And you can see, I mean, it's not a huge bag, but I mean, it probably almost halfway full just on one pass. So I'm gonna actually dump this out and we'll make maybe a couple passes with the dethatcher. All right, I've got the dethatching system on there now, so let me dethatch a couple passes. We'll look at it and see if we can see a difference. It looks like there's more brown grass over here. So I'm gonna drop it down 1 notch and make a pass on this back section so we may see a more dramatic result. Okay, so it definitely does something, and you can see here, and some of this, you know, you may have to go over it twice, I mean, if you want even more extreme results. But I mean, look at all the grass right here versus right here. As far as like, I now can easily see down to the dirt, where here you can't see down on the dirt unless you just kind of part it and do all this digging around and everything. So I mean, it definitely picked up a lot. I mean, you can see as I stand up here, detached, not detached. So the thing works, and I think the principle behind it works as far as allowing soil. I mean, I think this would also probably help it green up faster, just to be honest with you, because you're going to get more sunlight down to the roots, which is going to help it turn green faster, and water and air flow and all the things we talked about. So there it is. There's other brands of these things out there, and I imagine they probably work the same, but this one comes with that Scarifier attachment, which I thought was great. So hopefully you learned something in the video. If your lawn isn't struggling and you look at it and you got a bunch of thatch, this is something that would be worth considering, worth trying. I want to thank all of you for watching my videos. I've been on YouTube since 2011, I think. So I know some of you have been with me a long time. I really appreciate that, and watching so many videos. I got a lot planned for this year, hoping to really do a lot more videos. Also, if you want to get into weed control or fertilization or mowing, whatever, go to lawncarelife.com. There's a lot of resources there, including weed control pricing chart, documents, the video course called the Weed Control and Fertilization Academy. So check those out. If you need a SEO website company, the company I use is called Footbridge Media. If you go to their website, just Google Footbridge Media. And if you go down to the bottom right of their homepage, there's a Lawn Care Life link. They built my website, Alabama Lawn Pros. And if you use my link, it's $1.99 a month. That's the no upfront cost for your website. It's just $1.99 a month. They build your website, help you get reviews, do the search engine optimization. If you don't use my link, you're gonna pay $2.49 a month. So you save 50 bucks a month with my link. Check out my site, alabamalawnpros.com. They did a great job, in my opinion, and have been very professional in the way they carry themselves. It's not just a little small company with a couple employees either. They've got a real team. So I tell people, if you're gonna be in a lawn business, to me it just makes sense to get a website. I think I get more calls from my website than any other method, including word of mouth. Appreciate you guys watching. Hey, leave me a comment below. What do you think about this video? Hey, we'll see you next time.